I haven't really talked much about 4-inch setups, even though my floss frame was originally designed to be a super light 4-inch setup, because there really aren't great props for 4-inch, and it just doesn't perform that fantastic to me unless it has an okay prop at least. I mean, the best prop that I preferred on these tiny little motors was this. This is the HQ5 4x45 twin blade, and it's just a shrunk down version of their 6-inch blade, which now they have a 5.5-inch version. I don't even know if they have a 5-inch version. They probably do, and they have a 4-inch version as well. And the reason I really like this prop is because the motors could spin it really well. The motors with the more recent beta flights or more recent race flights or whatever, more recent firmwares, will spin heavier props okay, but in general the response of the prop and the feel of the flight is not as locked in and under control as a lighter blade that the motor can fully spin and has complete authority over. So that's why I preferred this prop over the heavier Meteor Doll 4x45 V2 hybrid bullnose mouthful of a blade. And now I have another mouthful of a blade for you here. And first thing I'm going to tell you is that this is hands down the absolute best 4-inch prop in existence today. And if you wanted to just stop watching the video right there, you could, because there are no other real options to compare this prop to. So first and foremost, thank you very much to HQ for making this prop. It has opened the doors to 4-inch, in my opinion, for me and a lot of other people. I think it's a really fantastic prop. But before I talk about this prop, let's talk about the bigger brother. So this is the 5-inch version of the prop, and if you compare the two, the 4-inch version is an exact scale down of the 5-inch version, which does not really work out like perfectly, because aerodynamics don't really work out to just scale like perfectly like that. But in this case, the 4-inch version is better than the 5-inch version, and let's discuss why. So the 5-inch version is a great prop. It has fantastic punch, fantastic speed, fantastic response, fantastic control. The only issue with it is that the throttle in the low range on a light setup feels a little too poppy, maybe, which is just kind of my personal preference. And on a heavier setup, past 500 grams, the prop feels unpredictable to me because it's heavier and the prop is a polycarbonate prop and it's kind of like flexing, and I come out of dives and I don't know how much gas to give it to get out of the dive. It's just hard to predict what it's going to do, and that's the reason why I don't really like it for acro very much. And I spoke to Chad about it not a while ago, but a couple days ago, and he's working to try and improve the prop a little bit further. He was the original person that helped them make the V1S prop, and this one was supposed to be an attempt at giving back the punch and the power of the original HQ 5x4x3, the glass nylon one that was still probably the best prop for freestyle, and it did that. It definitely gave you back the punch, but unfortunately it's a polycarbonate prop and it flexes. Now the 4-inch version is not plagued by that unfortunate issue, and it feels very, very much like the bigger brother, except it doesn't have that unpredictability. It doesn't have as much of the unpredictability. Still, the pop of the gas is a little bit it has a very traditional feel to the throttle to me. It doesn't have a very linear feel. So once you get to like 20-30% throttle range, you get a pop of power, and then it's linear from there all the way up to max. Like the faster this prop spins, the faster you go, because it's so small and has a really good pitch on it, and it's flexible, but because it's so small, it's not flexing very much. So you can just spin it faster and faster, and you're just gonna keep going faster and faster. It's a really good prop for speed. I don't know if it's the fastest prop, but I think that it's really freaking fast. Because there's nothing else to compare this prop to, I can't really give you any metrics or numbers on it, but I'll tell you that it's a 2.2 gram blade. I think that they will probably make a quad blade version of it as well, and it's polycarbonate and it's very durable. So let's talk about the quad. 4-inch in general, I haven't talked so much about 4-inch. 4-inch, in my opinion, should not be more than 300 grams. If you're running 2204 motors, I would not run motors bigger than 2204. There is, in my opinion, absolutely 0 point in running like a 2206 3500 kV motor on like big meaty 4-inch props, loading up a 1300 battery and a GoPro. That's just dumb. You're not getting any of the benefits of, there's no benefits. There's nothing to gain from that. You might as well just put 5-inch props on it because it'll perform better even at that super high kV. So in my opinion, 4-inch needs to be super light, and there's no point to a motor bigger than 2204 for 4-inch. Yeah, I mean, if you like bigger motors, good for you. I'm not going to argue with you about that, but I've flown a lot of stuff. I really think that 4-inch needs to be super light. The benefits that you gain from being super light, 300 grams and under, really 315 grams absolute max with the 2204 motors. Maybe if you're loading up like a 1000 battery, like 318 grams, but really like that's the max upper limit. Preferably the quad would weigh an all-up weight of 280 grams. I think 280 grams is the perfect weight for a 4-inch all-up weight on these props. It's fantastic. The props have excellent grip, excellent punch, excellent power. You can, pull out of any dive, no problems, shoot forward at breakneck speed. And when you have that kind of light weight and this kind of power in such a small package, you have incredible grip. The thing changes directions like no other quad I've ever flown. It's really amazing. It's really astonishing to fly. The one and biggest downside to 4-inch is the battery life, in my opinion. This setup is running on an 800 milliamp pack, and I probably could load up a 1000. I wouldn't perform that differently. This is a 280 grams exactly, and with a 1000 it'll probably be around 295 grams, so still around 300 grams. It would perform really well, and that would give me about 2 minutes of kind of max throttle, all out, go crazy nuts kind of flying. With this little 800 pack, for freestyle acro, what you're going to see in a minute, gave me. Well, I flew it for 3 minutes, but it came down at 3.4 volts per cell. Oh yeah, that's another very interesting thing about 4-inch setup. You don't feel the sag in the battery as much. I have a theory why that is, because the motors just kind of, they're not more efficient, but they don't require as much power, and the battery is not that much smaller compared to the bigger setup. So you kind of have not an excess of power, but you have more power for the setup, and it's so light that you don't really feel so much voltage issues. You feel like just a hair of it here and there, but you really don't feel anything until the very end, when the battery just starts getting so low that it's dropping down to like 10 volts total. Like then you start to feel it. So it's really good issue to have, to not be able to feel the sag until the very last moment. And that's probably one of the main advantages I see to 4-inch, because you can go nuts the whole time. And I don't know if it'll keep up on a track with a 5-inch that has a 1500 milliamp battery. I haven't tried it. I don't really fly tracks very much, but I will try. I'm thinking of trying it on the new multi-GP track, the one that's in Ventura, and I hope it can keep up with 5-inch, because it would be really interesting to race a little 4-inch against the 5-inch quads and keep up and have the same. It'll definitely have the same lap times, but have the same ability to go as long, same endurance as the 5-inch quad. So that's about 4-inch. Keep it light, keep it small. I have a new frame that's going to come in the future, I don't know when, a couple months maybe, that will hopefully replace this floss setup. And yeah, that's it. Now you can watch the flight video that I'm going to give you just DVR video, because I don't want to load up a GoPro on here, because I don't recommend running a GoPro on a 4-inch or a 3-inch. It just can't really carry it that well. And of course, don't forget to floss. Thank you.